Hi artists, today we are going to be drawing puppies, and there are so many different kinds of puppies and really cute ones, but the lesson today is all about texture. It's how to use different colored pencils to achieve that texture of that puppy's really fluffy fur. And so I've chosen an Australian Shepherd, and we're going to be doing a portrait, which is just the face of the Australian Shepherd. So I have an arrangement of different colors here. This one is actually just my normal drawing pencil. So if you have a yellow pencil, that'll work. And then you'll want an eraser for doing the sketch. And then we have different colors. So the blues I chose for the color of the eyes. And then I have an orange, this is called sienna. So it's like a warmer brown, a darker brown, and black. Obviously you can exchange different colors, but if you want to follow along with me, then try to get as close of a match as you can. Okay, so starting out, we're going to do a sketch. So I'm going to have my puppy coming from the bottom of the paper, kind of peeking its head up in a playful position. So we're going to start out with a half circle. And this is super light, like we always do. You want to do your sketch really lightly, that way we can move these simple shapes around. So we have a simple half circle. For the nose, I'm going to do another half circle at the bottom, middle bottom. And then you can also do 2 circles for the eyes. And then we are going to have the ears. So just above, like if you go to the middle of this circle, hop up. You can start the ear on the left side here, curving up, a little bit down towards the left, and around. Same thing on the other side. Well, for this one, we're going to go from the left side of the circle. It's going to come up at a diagonal. And then I'm going to do a curve, curving up towards the right side of the paper and back down. Okay, so that's it for our simple shapes for the puppy. And now we're going to come in and kind of move these lines, mold them into more of a realistic version. So you can use a medium pressure now. So at the top here, I'm going to start where the ear attaches to the head. I'm going to do a slight curve downward and up. So you can see the difference in the value. So this is really light value, my sketch. My line work is a medium value. And then I'm actually going to cut into the face here. So this is the inside of the ear. And then down here, we're going to curve inward because they have a more kind of longer snout area. All right, next we can just outline the circles. So if you did a sketch, you might see a few lines here. So now you're gonna go a little bit more slower, more intentional with your lines, and the eyes are slightly the head is up, kind of tilting its head a little bit. So I'm going to bring this next circle just up a little bit more, so we really get that feeling of the puppy. It looks like it's staring back at us curiously, popping its head into our frame. Okay, So on this side for the ear, we're going to curve around, follow that sketch line, and then bring it in towards the eye. Okay. And then again, we're going to shave off some of the side of the face. And then we'll get back to the ears later. For now, just attach the bottom right side of the ear, connect it to the head. Okay, and then next, we're gonna make this nose a little bit more defined. So you can bring the nose in just a little bit, slightly on the right. Then it's going to curve around. So I'm going to shave off a little bit of the top of the nose. So see, the left side of the eye should almost be in line with the right side of the nose. And then this one I am going to make smaller. So the right side of the eye at a diagonal, see how my pencil is at a diagonal? It's going to come in. There we go. So what we're doing is we're just kind of molding the basic shapes, the circles, the curved lines, and making them a little more defined. Okay. And then we want to do the nostrils, so you can do 2 oval shapes, so they're kind of like smush circles for the nostrils. Okay. And then let's go back into the eye. So puppy dog eyes, puppies are known for their super big sparkly eyes. So you're going to do a curved line here. This is going to be the highlight. So that one's kind of towards the right side, and then this one is going to be a curved line towards the left. And then I'm going to do the outline, which is going to be a curved line. So this is a hard pressure because we're going to go in with black later on for the pupils. So pupils are really big. So you're left over with this crescent moon shape. That is going to be where the color of the eye is, so the iris. Let's hop over to the other side. All right. Okay, so now that we have our sketch, I want you to just go ahead and put your pencil to the side. You can grab your eraser and just start erasing the sketch lines you no longer need. Just cleaning up those areas. All right. So moving on, we are going to start adding some color. So I'm going to start in the colored part of the eyes. So I grabbed 2 blues. I have a really light blue. This is called Cloud Blue, and another blue. This is called Muted Turquoise. So I'm going to start out with the lighter color. And I'm going to just do, see, on the left eye, I'm going to do a little bit of this cloud blue color in the bottom right side of the eye. This is hard pressure, so I'm pressing down really with a lot of pressure. Same thing on the other side, it's going to be on the right side. So you may be used to just doing colors of, you know, filling things in like a coloring book, but in here I like to show you how you can incorporate different colors, mix them together, and get some really beautiful color mixtures. So that's it for this color for now. Put it to the side, and then you can grab your slightly darker blue, or whatever color you want. You can do the eyes green, they can be brown. So this one, I'm going to fill in the other half of that crescent moon shape. Till they meet. And then right now there's a really harsh line between the two colors, so we want to blend them together. So you're going to use a medium pressure, and that way you can press down, get rid of that hard line, and make a nice transition from the darker color to the lighter color. And you'll notice as I'm shading, I'm always going with the same curve, so this curved line. I'm not going in any other direction. I want to make sure that I'm following that curve. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so the next thing we can do is add the black. So grab your black. Now, if you don't have a black colored pencil, you can also like mix a black, like you could do like a really dark blue and a dark purple. You could, you know, mix brown with other colors, so that's also an option. Now, I want to start out by just outlining the area that I'm going to leave white for the highlight. And then outlining the edge of the pupil. And then you can fill this in. So this is really dark pressure. You want a really hard application so that you can get a really deep black color. You may even want to go over it like 2 times to bump up the contrast. Oh, so cute. Already is coming together. If you have a little furry friend at home, maybe you can do the same colors that your pet is for the eye color. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the picture that I have, this really cute Australian Shepherd, has these dark colorings around the eyes. So I'm going to map those out with a sketch. So just continue with your black or whatever color you're using for the fur. So the first thing I want to do is I want to outline around the eye. So I make sure not to go back into that blue color. Okay. So another thing that's cool is the colors here. We have cool colors for the eyes, and then the rest of the dog is going to be warm colors. So the cool colors are really going to bring us in. It recedes, it goes backwards. So the next thing you can do is just above the eye. I'm just going to map out some areas where I'd like to introduce the black. So, you know, you don't have to do it the exact same as me. And this is really loose, so you see I'm kind of holding it looser. It's a sketch. Almost looks like it's wearing glasses. As our drawing transforms, it's gonna go through some really funny looking stages. Like right now it looks really silly, but just follow along, trust me, and then we'll get to the end, and once we add all the color in, once we've mapped it out, it's gonna really come together. So it's better to work in this type of process. You work really loosely at first. That way you can move things around if you need to. You can, you know, change it. If I just went in and did a lot of detail and then I needed to move the eye to a different place, that would be kind of a bummer. I'd have to erase the whole thing. Okay. So that should be good for now. So this is where we get into texture. So we want it to mimic the way that a puppy's, you know, fur feels. So if you just like close your eyes and imagine running your fingers over your puppy, or if you don't have one, you know, I know you guys have all seen dogs, maybe probably all touched and pet one. So, you know, those things are really important for artists to think about, because that's how you can really drop in, really get the feeling of something, and then bring that into reality in your work. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna do sketching. Like, it's almost like Scribble Scrabble, but it's controlled. It's within the areas that I drew out. So I'm just going back and forth. Now see how I go outside of the lines just a little bit? That's good, because we want it to look like fur. Like, you know, your hair has many strands of hair. We want it to have that feeling. So starting out with this, like a medium pressure. Obviously when you get close to the eyes, you don't want to scribble into the eyes, so just slow down a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to continue doing this back and forth motion, filling in the areas that we have mapped out. And then, just like we have learned before about value, you know, the harder you press, pressing harder, I'll get a darker black. And if I'm not pressing as hard, I'll get a lighter gray. So you can decide how dark you'd like to add this fur. You can also play around with different darkness, different value. All right, so our puppy fur is really coming together. We really get the difference in texture between the glassy eyes and the fuzzy fur. So I'm just gonna add some more little areas of black spots that are covering my Australian Shepherd. So they have these like cute little spots running up the top of the forehead. So those, I'll do it slowly. You can just do these angle lines back and forth and then just layer them on top of each other, and that'll create those fuzzy textures. So this type of application of color is also useful whenever you're doing, you know, animals with fur. So some of you have done the snow leopard with me before, you know, a tiger, even cat fur. So, you know, this can be applied to many different animals. And it's slightly different than what we learned in terms of like doing feathers. But that's the cool thing. Artists have all of these tools. You know, you have your physical tool, which is your colored pencil or your marker, your crayon, whatever you're using to draw with. But you also have a whole array of different applications. So you have a skill set and you know how to use this simple single colored pencil to create many different types of textures and applications. So I'm just going to keep adding some more fuzzy areas. Also, when you're adding the texture, you want to think about the way that it wraps around the face. So, you know, right here, like when you're petting your dog, you're not gonna want to like go the opposite direction of the fur, right? They probably don't like that. It's more natural to go the same direction. So you can even pretend like you're petting this puppy right here. So when I'm doing the nose, I'm gonna go from the middle out towards the left, and then from the middle out towards the right. So that's gonna also help give us a little bit more volume, so it's gonna come towards us. Okay, and then before we add the black in the nose, I do want to get into a little bit of the ears. So the picture I have here, he has these like really big scruffy ears. I also chose the Australian Shepherd because it has a really great ability to show, you know, the different types of like fur. So like shorter fur here on the face and longer fur for the ears. So for these, we're going to use a really energetic line. So if you're still working on this, just take a little break and look up here. So the first area, you know, you can actually fill in. I made the ears a little bit smaller because we want this whole entire area. Looks kind of like a pig right now. It's funny. You want to fill that in just with black. So notice how I'm holding my pencil closer to the bottom. That way I have more of like a free flowing line moving back and forth to sketch. And like I said before, you guys, you're building this skill to be able to go really quick and control where your pencil goes. It's just like, you know, anything else when you're learning how to do karate. It might be a little awkward at first, but you're just building that muscle memory. Okay. All right, so once you've filled in this big area, now we can add the fur that's coming off of the edges. So the first area I'm going to do is the top right corner. So I'm just going to press down really hard, and I'm going to almost like fling my wrist and have lots of lines coming off of the shape that we've mapped out. So you can like feel that texture. You can see and imagine yourself running your fingers through that fuzzy texture. So I'm just going to keep working around clockwise, you know, going down the side of the ear. So cute, I love it. All right. Now we can do the same thing on the other side. So again, I'm just going to fill in this shape that I have. Also good to have a pencil sharpener nearby because, you know, as we're working with these really energetic lines, you are going to go through your pencil. So if at any point you need to take a little pause and sharpen that, that's cool too. This also can show you the difference, you know, some puppy breeds have really fuzzy ears, but some have like more soft, even curly. You know, if you wanted to get into the curly, that would just be more like wavy lines, you know, layered on top of each other. I'm not going to do that for this one, but maybe if you guys want to do one in the future, we could find a dog that is like that. Alright, so once you're done filling in that big shape, then you can go on to the energetic lines coming off the left ear. Another thing is, you know, even though we're all stuck inside right now, if you have a pet, it's really cool, like so fun to draw them in real life. You know, there's nothing like drawing something from real life. If you don't have a pet, you can even look outside your window and see what cool animals you can find and try to use the things you've been learning with me in our drawing together to influence what you make. So even though we only meet twice a week, you can always keep working and building that practice. So good for you. All right, so I'm just gonna keep going. Have it slightly curved up towards the left here. All right, so if you didn't fill all of that in, that's no problem. This is a lot of details, so we'll keep moving on so I can show you guys the next step, and you can always go back to whatever you were still working on. So the last area that we're going to do with our black colored pencil is the nose. So the first thing I want to do is I really want to make the nostrils look super deep. So you want to outline them, and then inside the nostrils it's going to be really black. So really dark pressure, press down really hard. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do a lighter pressure on the top of the nose. So we want to get that texture of the wetness, because dogs have that wet nose. So this area that I'm mapping out right here is going to be a kind of light to medium pressure, so barely touching it. Okay, so you should get like a light gray. We also want a little bit of that light gray just around the bottom edge of the nostrils. And then the remainder, this whole entire white area here, going to be all dark black. So just map that out, fill it in. Okay. So right now they're really disjointed. They're not connected. They don't flow nicely. So one thing that we can do is use our white colored pencil. Sorry, I don't know if I told you to get one. So yeah, if you have one, that's great. Go ahead and grab it. Okay. And so when you use white, it has a really nice opaque. So it's opaque is the opposite of transparent. And so you can use it to blend. So the white on top of the black will make this gray, and it will also give it the feeling of a smooth but wet nose. And you also want to go a little bit into the black area. That way it's a nice transition. So this is not furry, this is smooth. So talking about texture again, kind of more like the eye. Then I'm doing a light layer of this white on the bottom of the nose, and that really like brings it all together. All right, awesome. Okay, so that's it for this color for now. We can next bring in those orange tones. So I want to add some orange. Dogs have a super cute little, like, they almost look like little tiny eyebrows above their eyes. So we can add that now. So I'm going to use this orange color, or whatever color you want. So again, just like we did the black, we're going to map it out with a sketch. That fits really nicely above the eye. It also almost gives it that kind of curious look. And then pretty much whole bottom left side here is like all of this color. Yeah, this whole entire section. So you can layer them, and that's actually what we want to do. We want the colors mixing together. That's going to make it look more natural. And then yeah, also like the nose from here, pretty much everywhere that's white here is going to also be this color. All right. So I'm gonna start out just with the areas, little eyebrow looking things. So instead of coloring it in, you know, like we have this like coloring book, the whole thing in, you wanna do lines. So you're gonna do lines that are kind of layered. And make the orange go into the black a little bit, and that's going to give you another different color. It looks like a dark brown. So just go to town. We can go really quickly, energetically. And then this whole entire area to the left, I'm gonna start out just with a sketch. So shade it. So hold towards the bottom, fill this area in. Don't worry if you go a little bit outside of the line, that's totally cool. Same on the other side. So right now the cheeks look really big. So what we want to do to bring in, to find the area between like its jawline and its neck is use a deeper brown. So I'm going to use, well first I'm going to use this brown. It's a sienna, it's a warmer brown. And then I'm just going to cut into here. Okay. Same thing on this side. It's just gonna break up that big space. So start with a line. And then you can do little tiny lines coming off the sides. Okay. Now, to also add that texture, we want to do little tiny lines inside this area. So just quickly repeating. And that just really helps add to the feeling of it being really fuzzy, furry. Okay. All right, and now to bring some of these warmer colors up into the ears, that's really going to add another layer. So you can use your brown And I'm doing these longer curve lines. It's a little hard to tell, but when you look closely, see if I can get closer for you guys. Yeah, when you look closely, see the difference between this like brown color mixing into the ear and then this more flat black. So you can do that on both sides, just adding those pops of brown with your energetic lines. You'll know you'll have energetic lines because you can hear them. They're louder, you know, when you listen to my pencil hitting the paper. Fun too, you can just get wild with it, you know. All right, and then the last step is if you wanted to add that last color, you know, we've gone through all of these different colors here. But if you want to add that last deeper brown for that really nice pop of contrast, you can do that. I just kind of sprinkle it all over and just add it in areas that I think could use a little more texture. So for, you know, through the nose, I'm using it really lightly, barely touching it, and kind of filling in the white areas with little tiny lines. And then wherever else you want to add it to bump up the darkness. Maybe like around the eyes would look really nice. Framing the eyes. I could just keep drawing this for all day. So that's it for our lesson, you know. I really enjoyed drawing this with you guys. I mean, puppies are just so cute, and it's really fun to be able to bring something, just like a simple piece of paper. Like, it's crazy, right? You guys started with a white paper, and now you have a puppy. So great job today, and I look forward to creating more beautiful drawings with you.